Today we're going to learn about APA signal phrases for quotes and paraphrases. Signal phrases mark the boundaries between source material and your own words, or who said what. They provide context for the reader. Okay, this is very important because as you're adding your quotes in, you don't want the reader to be confused about how that quote fits into your work or where that quote came from. You need it to be from, as we discussed during the lesson on quote sandwich, that the author needs to be a credible author. You need to show the date, and you need to lead in this quote. Okay, so we talked about that introduction, which here we're calling signal phrase. Okay, so here are three different examples. We have Roman, who's the author, the date when the paper was written, reported that, according to, and then the author with the date, and then the quote. Or as blank has noted, and then we add the quote. So they also usually include a specific verb in the past tense or present tense, present perfect tense. So as you can see, there's a chart on the reverse side that we can look at. Okay, so we say the authors argued for, or the author has argued for. Okay, never present tense, not argues, will argue, but argued or has argued. Right, so let's look at this chart. Verbs give the readers more context for your quote or paraphrase. Okay, our verbs here, as you can see, stated, wrote, and said are all crossed off. Now, think about it. Why do you think stated, wrote, and said is crossed off? Well, I'm sure that you understand that those are words that maybe you used in 5th grade, 6th grade. Now you need to use more academic words. So we have a list here for you. So when you're introducing a fact or a statement, instead of saying stated, wrote, or said, you can say commented, observed, expressed. The author focuses on or excludes information. So for focusing on, we'd say emphasized. For excluding, we would say ignored. The verb to introduce a claim, you would say argued, proposed. But if they're introducing their view, you would say maybe confirmed or supported. Verbs to introduce views the author disagreed with would be contradicted, disputed, negated. And verbs to introduce the author's qualified agreement, admitted or conceded. All right, so this chart is very important. This is what I want you to have near you as you're going through your paragraphs for questioning and discussing, and then for your media and your literature. Okay, all three of these paragraphs need quotes added into them. Okay, the quote is going to help you support your claims and also create a more academic paper. Okay, so follow the quote sandwich format and then use the stronger verbs, and all of that together will help your paper be stronger and more academic. All right, so avoid dropping direct quotes into your work. Okay, so here we see the author states, but the results of the experiment did not have long-lasting positive changes. The effects disappeared within minutes with no explanation. Okay, here we see Lopez found that the effects disappeared within minutes, and then the explanation, which raises questions about the implication of the study's findings for a wider demographic. So make sure that you are doing that. Okay, we talked about having that explanation in our quote sandwich. All right, so also, if you want to paraphrase or summarize, you can do that. All right, so the first one is probably the strongest for you guys. Okay, the author explained that, and then taking what the author said, putting it into your own words, and explaining it. Then you would have the page number in the journal where you read it. Okay, if you didn't have a page number, you don't need to put one there. All right, and then you can also summarize by citing multiple sources. So if all of your sources are saying the same thing, you can use that as a summary. You can say, several studies have identified a positive correlation between meditation and stress reduction. And then you need to cite all of the sources where you found them. Okay. The main thing for you in the next couple of days is just to make sure that you are using these suggestions, this chart, and changing and using stronger verbs in your writing.